I don't know if I believe you because I'm watching it. I don't see
did.
me yet.
I did.
Oh, all right, we're good.
There we go.
I'm getting a nod for Call of Duty, guys. I'm gonna stop being on this podcast and join the Call of Duty.
Join the Call of
Modern Warfare podcast.
Yeah,
Planet Modern Camper.
Well, I mean,
as soon as you step into that podcast, you run into a Claymore anyway. So it's like you're going to be back here in 3.5 seconds anyway.
Yeah, it's crossplay, so it should be good.
It is crossplay. I do love that it's crossplay because it's cool to be able to just jump on and be like, oh, my little brother's on PS4. Let's go do some co-op or play multiplayer and whatnot. I just wish
it didn't suck.
God, I wish it didn't suck.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Modern Warfare here before we get into normal things. I love you, Call of Duty. Like, you're my game. I've been playing you for like years. I've been playing you back when you were known as Medal of Honor. Yeah. You remember that series you stole everything from? I remember that. I was there for you then. And like, Modern Warfare rebooted, as my favorite Call of Duty commentator calls it. There's a lot that works for it. It's a well-crafted, well-built game. The gunplay is fantastic. The visuals are fantastic. The sound engineering is a little too good. The story mode is great. If you're a fan of the old Modern Warfare franchise, there's more than a few surprises that they throw at you, and it's fantastic. But good God, is the multiplayer a gigantic mess. It is an absolute gigantic, frustrating mess of a camp fest. It's like, you can't take 2 steps without running into a Claymore somebody dropped there. You can't take 3 steps without being shot from 360 degrees by someone who was hard scoping a lane about 200 miles that way. It's such a frustrating experience to play right now. And I just find that the actual only time I do well and actually go positive is when I'm that dude. Double Claymore setup, second floor of a building, camped out in a corner with as much cover as possible, head glitching, everybody else on the battlefield. Just, there's somebody blue. There's somebody blue. Imagine a 20-minute game of you sitting in one building. That was me earlier today. I went on a 30-kill streak. It was the only time I've hit 30 in this game at all, and I felt disgusting. Ugh.
Yeah, I would feel bad too. That feels gross.
Aura, have you played Modern Warfare?
No, I've tried to watch it. I've tried to watch broadcasts. I got a lot of friends from the Destiny Sweat community, a tournament community, that went over and tried it. And they're having a lot of the same frustrations that you are. There's no reason to play aggressive, so nobody does. It's not the Call of Duty that we used to know, where you would run around with just your knife out with all the speed boosters on and just running around knifing people. It's not that game anymore. And like, this kind of feels like the fruition of what gaming has become over the past couple of years, where it's so focused on your performance and your stats and everything that like, this is what people have become. This is what it's become. And you look at even Fortnite solo tournaments or whatnot, where like the key to move is to build around you and tunnel everywhere because you don't want to get third partied. It's that without any way to actually protect yourself while you move. It's very disengaging to watch. The maps don't look particularly well constructed. Hit registration appears to be an issue for a lot of players, where they're getting hits first and they're still dying in the gunfight. There's a couple of balancing issues with the weapons, but it hasn't drawn me. And this is the world we live in now with content creation. It hasn't given me a reason to pull the trigger and make the purchase.
Yeah. Yep. There's only one game that I want to play right now, and it's on Xbox Game Pass, and it is called The Outer Worlds. Nim was playing that a little bit.
Things.
Oh, it looks like, here's my alley, and here's other games, and then that one's just like straight down the middle. It's like right
down the middle.
Yeah.
It looks like a time sink, though.
Well, so the beauty of it, from what I'm seeing, from reviewers and stuff, you can spend 20 hours in that game and finish it, or you can spend 70 hours in that game and finish it. It is entirely up to you how you decide to play it. If you don't want to play any of the side quest stuff, you can just get the story that way. So, seems really neat.
Yeah, from some of the makers of some of the old Fallout games, and
that's what scares me. That's what scares me about it.
And that's what it is. It's like it's the Fallout game that 76 and Fallout 4
weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely punched the ticket for a lot of people out there. I haven't picked it up yet, but I have watched a lot of it. And you're right. It looks like the kind of game you could get lost in. And that's
I'm fine
after
with
the
that.
headache of Modern Warfare. That might be what I need to jump into.
There's too much stuff for me to do in Season of the Undying. I don't have time to have another game that's going to be a time sink. I've got the Undying Triumph to work on. I've got the Moon Triumph to work on, Triumph Seals, and I've got whatever the other one is, Shadowkeep's Triumph Seals to work on as well. There's 3 new Triumph Seals that were introduced this season. We still have more Pinnacle rewards in the dungeon coming. We have the Gate Lord or whatever, the Undying Mine on the way. I got to get as much done. What is it? Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday
is launching.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't have time for Outer Worlds.
This episode is called Collision Course for a reason.
Yeah, no joke. Tuesday we have got the dungeon dropping, Festival of the Lost, a brand new exotic quest. There's so much stuff to talk about and so much stuff that's going to be dropping on your head. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you for saying I ain't got no time for no headache Call of Duty game or to get lost in some weird space western. I got some guns to shoot. I got some loot to grab and whatever else is going to be coming our way. But by the way, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 217 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We are your hosts, back once again to talk about everything going on in the Destiny world and, a few other games that are going on because, God, I want them to fix Modern Warfare. I want it to be good. You have what you need. Please, just be good. I haven't even talked about the footstep issue. Later, our usual roundtable of hosts here. Starting it off, Mr. Danfinity. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Link?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back talking about things with you guys again. This is a highlight of my Sunday. I love it.
Same.
Apparently, it's not a highlight of Nim's Sunday, or he would be here.
Called out.
Rip.
Called out.
For the YouTube audience who might take that too seriously, he's got to go to work super early tomorrow, so he's not here tonight. It's okay. Everything's fine.
It's going to be okay.
Hi, Nim. Aura, how's it going, man?
It's good. I am the proud owner of the Randy's throwing knife. I acquired it yesterday.
Ooh.
So I told you we had stuff to do.
Yeah.
So one of them was the time trials for the nightmares.
Right.
The other one was the Randy's throwing knife. And then today I spent a lot of time in Gambit, getting teabagged more than I would in Crucible as an Erentil main.
Yeah.
Working my way towards exit strategy. Solo queue Gambit.
Ooh.
By the way, the teabagger was removed from the game after I shit on him multiple times. Hi, Laser.
Yeah.
Careful who you bag, pal.
Who bags in Gambit?
A lot of people. A lot of people bag in Gambit. I'm telling you right now, I have not been. I played Erentil all the way up through Legend and Comp.
Yeah.
I mained an Erentil since February of this year. We're talking 8 months of fusion rifle gunplay, and I get bagged more in Gambit than anywhere else. These Dredgens take their business very seriously, and they don't take kindly to getting killed by cheesy invasion weapons like 1K Voices or Golden Gun. They like to use the skillful weapons like the Truth and bag people.
Oh, yeah.
Hammerhead. Wait, so are these people invading you and then bagging you, or are you invading
I invaded. I killed 3 people. I made the consistent mistake of not reloading my Recluse before I invaded. So I'm working on the final guy. I pull out my Recluse, which is procs, by the way, and there's no bullets in it, and the guy shotguns me and bags me.
Yeah.
So I spent the rest of that game shitting on only him.
I agree with him.
I invaded and killed only him. The rest of the team, and he invaded me, and he got the business both times he invaded and got the wave on top of that. The rest of their team was completely safe.
Look, man, you didn't show up to work prepared.
Happens to everybody. You go and your guns.
Don't pick a fight you can't win.
You know what? Approved. I'm down with that. Give them the business and drop the nuts. Hi, my name is the Black Link. I'm here too. Let's go ahead and jump on into things here. The world of Destiny 2. So many things getting ready to happen in this game all at once. It's almost like they're trying to keep you going until the end of the season.
They're trying to keep you from playing other games, man.
It's almost like they're trying to keep your attention as other things are coming out.
Yeah.
But,
is it the Kojima game coming out next month?
Death Stranding is indeed coming out in a couple of weeks.
Oh man.
If not the first week of the month. I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure it's early in November.
Yeah. I don't know. They're trying to keep us from playing the Kojima movie. They're trying to do it.
my half decade Kojima walking simulator.
Yeah.
I need it. I need my $60 movie ticket. I'm okay with that.
I wonder if it's going to come with like a little tracker and you have to step in order to walk across the planet.
Oh man, that's like some next level Kojima and Nintendo nonsense.
They should do that. They'd make a lot of money.
But yeah, a lot of things going on, a lot of stuff getting ready to happen. Before we jump into some of the things that are going to be happening this week, like Festival, which we got to see a pretty extensive couple of articles about from Bungie this week, the new dungeon and all that kind of stuff. We had an exotic quest drop for the Leviathan's Breath. Now, this dropped for the season pass holders of Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. That's the premium pass holders, which runs for what? $10?
Yes.
$10, somewhere around there. And that quest went live on Tuesday, the 22nd, and started over at the Gunsmith. Did everybody here get it done?
No.
Yeah.
So one no, one yes. Well, two yeses for me. So Dan, it's a heavy weapon, the Leviathan's Breath.
Yeah.
A void bow.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to play around with it?
I have not used it. I got it and was just
Really?
like, neat, and then put it away and did other stuff.
Just over here. It's just another trophy on the wall.
Well, I'll use it eventually. I'm seeing some people use it in Gambit, which is kind of neat. But yeah, I haven't pulled back on it once. So I as an avid bow user and bow fiend, you would think that I would be more excited to use it, but I was just like, by the time we got it done, I was just like, okay. I'm ready to play some other stuff if that's cool. So
I feel you. It's an interesting weapon. For those who don't have it yet, or don't own the season pass, Leviathan's Breath is a heavy weapon. It is a void exotic heavy bow that takes an extremely long time to draw an arrow. It takes a long time to fully draw that arrow, but it deals extremely high damage per shot. And when you fully draw that arrow and fire it, it actually does an AoE. The damage is actually fairly significant. It's roughly equal to maybe half the damage of a 4 times honed edge catalyst buffed Izanagi.
Okay.
So it's pretty heavy damage per shot. It's not going to be the DPS king anytime soon in PvE. There's way too many other options for that.
Yeah.
But good.
Oh, I've heard people like considering it equivalent to like the sleeper right now.
Yeah.
Like where it sits. But
actually, I think it actually does about the same damage as a sleeper without like the refractions or anything.
Okay.
So yeah, it's basically a bow that does sleeper damage that you get 10 shots of without any scavenger perks, I want to say. And it is nice damage. Like you can one shot most things in PvE with it. So that's pretty cool. But where I found the biggest utility of this thing is really in Gambit and PvP. Of course, this week we had Mayhem live. So heavy ammo is everywhere. And let me tell you what, Leviathan's Breath don't give 2 Fs about any super in the game. It gives none. It basically one-shots all supers in the game except Ward of Dawn, because you guys are cowards and you're hiding in a bubble. Step outside. Catch me outside. How about that? But yeah, I actually had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun with it in PvP because it has some pretty silly aim assist tied to it as well. You don't need to be quite so pinpoint accurate to get kills with it. You just kind of aim in the general direction, and as long as you fully knock that thing back, you're going to get a kill. And I got a couple of pretty silly collats from people who thought they were safe standing next to the Striker Titan in his super. They weren't safe. When he blew up, they blew up. So that's pretty nice. And in Gambit, it makes for a pretty fantastic invasion weapon because of its overall damage, and there's no real damage fall off with the size of the maps in Gambit.
That's
so
awesome.
You can deal some pretty big slaps with it. It's kind of, I just thought it was kind of interesting that this bow that's super high damage, I found more utility for in PvP modes than I did in PvE.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting gun or bow,
Yeah.
not a gun.
It's I thought the quest for it, like Bo Solaris, hi Bo, asks in chat, he's like, what did you guys think of the quest length? I thought it was for a weapon of its caliber. I thought that the quest length was actually pretty nice. You could do it in like a 2-hour session.
Yeah.
Like
it does
at
not take
least.
long at all.
Yeah, and like you could
yeah.
You can have a pretty awesome bow. So
yeah, it doesn't take all day to get. It was like a 2-hour setting for me, and it could have been faster if I had farmed up Cabal precision hits rather than Vex precision hits for that step. Because
the Vex precision box doesn't exist for bows. Yeah,
no.
It doesn't exist.
And if you're going into the Undying or into the Vex offensive with it, you've got like and you don't have a full fire team that doesn't know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
When you gotta get full precision kills in there anyway for the Triumph seal as is. So I was in there doing it regardless. But a lot of people on Twitter were very vocal at the fact that they weren't very appreciative of the quest, whether it was too short, there wasn't enough content involving it, there wasn't a lot of lore. Apparently, I didn't read up on any of it, but a lot of people felt like it left a lot of things unfinished, I should say. And a lot of people thought that there should be a little bit more to it. And I have progressed it, I think, by accident to the point where I'm at right now. I haven't even looked at it. I went and grabbed it. I found where you go into the tower, which, by the way, really awesome spots.
That was cool.
In the tower. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and picked that up. And I right now I'm at the point where I got to go and get Cabal or Vex kills. I'm going to be going for Cabal. The Vex with the bow, the Vex offensive was enough for me. But it's a heavy bow.
Yeah.
Like that. So the real like desire and the push and the drive for it isn't there yet. It's part of the collections seal and the collections tab for the seal. So it's something that you have to acquire if you want to get one of those seals. I think it might even be Undying that it's involved in. It's one of the three, obviously, but it'll be something that I can do later. I had such a bad time with bows in the Vex offensive that it left me not wanting to see a bow again for at least a couple of weeks. Which, by the way, if you're in the Vex offensive trying to farm the weapons, you want to get auto rifles that have any kind of damage buff on them, whether it's Rampage or Kill Clip. If you have Ariana's Vow for hand cannons, it one-shots every red bar that's in there.
Yes.
So I got done the hand cannon portion of that immediately. Like 2 or 3 passes and that was done. Now I'm on Fusion Rifle and I'm an Aeron main, so I ain't even worried about that.
Yeah.
Easy money.
From that particular point. Yeah, easy. I just think it's a bow and it's a great thing. It's really neat. It has a knockback feature I think nobody even really mentioned. To the point where I actually got hit by the knockback function in PvP. And I was like, how did I get over here all of a sudden?
Yeah.
That was kind of wild, but I haven't really been killed by it much either. So, but I think the important thing for it is that it's a very good counter for supers. A body shot will kill most supers, if not all. That's so not even a precision shot, it's just a body shot in general. Will get it done.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting weapon, but it's got all the drawbacks, pun, of a bow in PvE and even in PvP. There's not really too much of a reason to use it. But like we were saying, if you're someone going through the quest right now, don't try to get Vex kills with a bow.
No.
Go to Leviathan, go to the Earth, go kill Cabal. It's so much easier to get precision shots against Cabal than it is to get Vex, and you'll get that step done in like 4 minutes. It'll be much easier for you than trying to go and do the Vex. But that's Leviathan's Breath. As far as the quest and the quest length, this is actually something I talked about with a buddy of mine who I was running the quest with on Tuesday. It definitely didn't take very long. It was like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of gameplay to get my hands on it. And I don't think that's a problem. One of the things that he brought up to me was he doesn't exactly need an exotic quest to be 25 steps long. It doesn't need to be that long.
Or time gated where you turn in a prime engram and then wait a week for the next step.
Yep.
Or time gated. That doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I think that was Thunderlord, because Thunderlord took 3 weeks initially. It took 3 weeks to get the Thunderlord quest done.
Yeah.
And I agreed with him. I don't think an exotic quest needs to have 25 different steps and take 7 hours to complete. No. I like some of the ones that took a while to complete. I thought the Outbreak Outbreak Prime in D1? What was it? Was it Outbreak the Prime in D1 before it was perfected in D2? Right.
Yeah.
But the quest to get the Outbreak Prime in D1 I thought was fantastic. The hidden puzzles and all that cool stuff. But it didn't necessarily take very long. It just took long for people to figure it out. Yeah. What was the thing there was difficulty. I'm perfectly fine with an exotic quest having difficult steps. I'll point to stuff like the Thorn quest requiring PvP kills. I'm fine with that sort of thing. You can put in a quest step that says, okay, now you have to run a 980 Nightfall with crazy modifiers and whatnot, like the Thorn quest does at the very end. That strike at the end of the Thorn quest was hard.
Hardest strike that Destiny probably has ever had.
Absolutely. It is easily the hardest strike that certainly at least Destiny 2 has ever put out. I'm fine with the exotic quest steps being difficult. I don't think they necessarily need to be long.
Right.
That's just how I feel about it. I don't know about you guys, but good topic of conversation, because
I don't know. PvE in Shadowkeep, Bungie has made it clear that they are fine with slapping us around.
Yeah,
they've made it abundantly clear. And the odd thing is that
Laura.
Yeah,
they heard.
I mean, the odd thing is that it's almost harder in. It is, in my opinion, harder in Nightmare hunts and Nightfalls than it is in the raid at this point. I mean, I'm a little bit of a veteran raider as we sit with Garden of Salvation, but I don't find that nearly as difficult as having to deal with whether it's the champions or just the fact that you don't do any damage. Like I'm gonna go back to Crota as a Nightmare. It was a damage sponge. So
yeah,
Bungie's made it pretty clear. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe we could see a little bit more difficulty added to a quest versus go here, kill this, go there, do that. Because I think at this point, we're all kind of sick of it. We're all kind of tired of being sent somewhere to kill a certain thing over a certain amount of time and having other blueberries there that are working on the same thing and killing it before you get a shot on it.
Yeah.
Like unlocking the forges. I think we're all as a community kind of over it. So maybe we will see a little bit more challenging. I mean, we're going to find out on Tuesday, right? With the what we believe is going to be the light machine gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Xenophage. We have the dungeon. Is that tied to the dungeon?
I don't think so. Whenever they mention it separately from talk about the dungeon. We don't really know much of anything that's going to be happening in the dungeon.
The dungeon better have a powerful weapon as a reward, because if not, this Pinnacle grind from 950 to 960 is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm be honest with you.
I mean, the Shattered Throne had high level powerful drops when Forsaken was the main bit of content. So I'm sure the dungeon has to have some sort of pinnacle reward at the very least at the final encounter. I'm assuming that structure wise it's probably going to be similar to Shattered Throne, where there's several different sections of the dungeon and completing each one will get you a drop. At the very least,
encounters, right?
Yeah.
So
3 different
encounters. Kind of the same thing. I don't think they stray too far from that formula.
Right.
But all 3 in Shattered Throne were powerful drops at that point in time. All 3 in this need to be pinnacle drops. All 3 encounters need to be, if there's 3, needs to be pinnacle rewards. And there needs to be a loot pool that is somewhat varied, because I don't know how it got through Bungie's QC department where 5 energy weapons and 2 kinetics were all that were available through the raid. Not only that, but it strongly appears as though everybody's RNG has been stuck to one specific area of drops. Like I'm talking to my friends throughout the course of the week. I have gotten boots 5 straight drops. 5 straight drops of pinnacle boots for some people. I mean, I took a picture and put it on Twitter of all my energy weapons that all came from the raid. And it's great if I'm trying to farm for a shotgun with 1-2 punch. But my entire leveling, my entire character's progression is being held back by the fact that these loot pools are so specifically tied to one specific area.
Yeah.
I didn't grind Iron Banner because it sucked. So I'm a little bit further behind the 8 ball. I'm still 951 if I'm going to talk about gear score, only ranking up because of my my artifact. So I'm not 952 or God forbid even remotely close to 953 right now.
Right.
But I'm losing I'm losing like motivation to even try when there's right now the only opportunity for pinnacle rewards is the raid and 100k nightfalls, right?
Right.
Am I forgetting one?
I think don't the nightmare hunts?
The master level nightmare hunts, I think.
So there's 3 right now. We've got another one coming with the dungeon. And
Hopefully.
did I already say Iron Banner? No, I didn't say Iron Banner yet. But Iron Banner is atrocious and an awful thing to grind through for the opportunity. So I'm just looking at Bungie saying, did you do this on purpose? Is this supposed to be another way to prolong this season? Is this just something that keeps us playing the game because you've fixed a loot pool in such a way that isn't going to allow us to progress our characters? So I don't know. I'm a little bit put off by the fact that the grind from 950 to 960 seems to be one-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of the problem there with that sort of thing is one of the most frustrating things right now, of course, is armor. You know, people not getting the armor they need to kind of boost themselves up. And it still kind of blows my mind that we don't have more regular sources of pinnacle armor to drop, because right now it's basically just the raid.
I wouldn't even care
Yeah.
if there was just something that would be like if anything needs duplicate protection, this is it. Right?
Yeah.
So like, all right, the raid offers you 4 opportunities at drops.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it seems that if you've got armor on your first raid, you're pretty much only getting armor. But there needs to like a duplicate protection for this specific area would really benefit the player base, because I can't imagine that everyone out there is really happy with the fact that they're putting this effort into something for a lot of players, which is more than an hour, probably 2. I was talking to somebody, we got them their divinity. They were in the boss encounter for 8 hours.
Ooh.
Just the boss. Not on 24-hour contest, none of that.
Oh God.
That's awful.
So does that make sense? Like maybe there's something we could do to kind of reward the people that are putting this much effort into it, because at that point, if I've got 8 hours invested in an activity, that shouldn't be up to RNG anymore.
Right.
Like,
well, I think it would be interesting if it was like tied to like Fabled and Legendary. If there were pinnacles, like guaranteed pinnacles at Fabled and Legendary.
Yes.
I feel like those are 2 milestones that when you hit them should be rewarded, like both in Gambit and PvP.
I agree.
So
the problem with that is that it's account based, not character based, though.
That's true.
Your glory rank is specific to all of your characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I good.
Yeah. No, that's the same. I was gonna say it would, if you actually cross that threshold, but you'd still be on your account, not on. It would drop specific to the character that you were on, but
yeah,
if I go into comp on a Titan, I'm losing every game I play.
Well, I mean, comp right now is one of the better ways to get to the
950
soft cap on light. Yeah, because every time you rank up, you get a powerful drop. I thought that was fantastic. That was great. But yeah, I think hitting certain milestones, like hitting Fabled, should get you a pinnacle drop, and then hitting Legend should get you a pinnacle drop or 3. I think would be perfectly fine. That's a reward for hitting the highest tier of play there.
Yeah.
But to solve this problem, because right now it's just there are not enough sources of pinnacle gear, and the sources we do have are so inundated with loot or weird drop pools that reliably getting what you need is basically impossible.
Yeah.
And so this is a big topic of conversation that I actually got into this week, with people talking about what Bungie could do to make your time a bit more worthwhile. And I think right now we have a lot of content in the game. There's plenty of things to do. I think a lot of that content we don't have any incentive to run.
Right.
It's boring.
Yeah,
Vex offensive,
a boring
like,
element to it.
If I want to go to sleep, I'll run Vex offensive. I'll be asleep in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is. Yeah. As much as I like the Vex offensive, having to run that 2 to 3 times to get your weekly powerful drop, by like the 3rd one, I'm comatose.
I don't need weekly powerful drops anymore.
Yeah.
And I only play on my
Have to get
hunter.
950.
My other two characters are far behind, but for endgame activities, I can go into the raid at 920 and be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can literally go on my Titan and go pump in coins at Shacks and get to 950 at this point. I actually don't have to play the game because I'm going to have something that's going to pull me along, right?
Right.
I haven't run an actual weekly powerful reward on purpose since like the second week.
And that's where I was going to go next, because once you hit the 950 on all your gear and you start going to the Pinnacle grind, you have no reason to run any other weekly content. None. I don't do my Crucible bounties. I don't do my Vanguard bounties. I sure don't do my Gambit bounties because there's no reason to. The only thing that's giving me any sort of power benefit is Pinnacle drops. And right now there's only a few sources of that. And I think one of the things that I was talking about this week is I think it would do Bungie some good to expand on their Pinnacle drops with a system that they've already had for years.
Yeah.
We have tons of raids in this game. Why do we not have an additional weekly featured raid with some of that old content, whether it's Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, Spire of Stars, the Black Armory raid? I keep forgetting what that one's called. Or even Last Wish on a weekly rotation where it can grant you Pinnacle rewards alongside of Garden of Salvation. That content is already in the game, and there's no reason to run it. It's just good old content that's been left behind that Bungie, like I said, already solved this problem with the Age of Triumph back in Rise of Iron. The initial revamping of stuff like Vault of Glass, Crota's End. You guys remember how that dropped? And every week there was a different weekly featured raid that you could run for all kinds of gear. That content's already in the game right now. People are having a problem with Pinnacle stuff. Drop Leviathan as a weekly featured raid. Let people get Pinnacle gear from that. There's plenty of armor tied to it. And the same thing can really go for any of the other stuff. I think that would just be one avenue to kind of expand upon the list of things that are worth players' time. Remember, just adding stuff to do into the game isn't worthwhile if the gear that players are getting from it isn't going to be helping them at all. There's plenty of stuff to do in the game right now. I'm doing none of it because none of it helps me.
Yeah. So, like, do you think it would be fair, like, having a playlist for raids? 100%. I love that. It allows you to, like, bring in... We have a bunch of new light players who... You know, they have access.
That's another reason to do it.
Yeah, you have they have access to a bunch, like 4 raids now. Three raids.
Everything on Leviathan.
Yeah, they get access to 3 raids. So like they could be a part of that journey as well.
Yeah,
I feel like say with Forsaken, we had so many avenues for powerful drops and stuff. Especially with the year 2 season pass, because like you got Forges, you got Menagerie, you got Gambit, like you got Reckoning and Gambit Prime, like all of those gave you powerful gear. What if so you've retired that content basically as prior year stuff, no powerful rewards from that, but you do. Like for Gambit, Crucible, and the Vanguard playlist, you do Pinnacles there. You do you already had the system in Forsaken that worked. You could still get Pinnacles from that. I don't know about like getting it from the EDZ so much, or like getting it from like a location. Like that always felt like I was cheating the company. Like whenever I did that.
For a while, you could go to one of the vendors and get at level or basically at level to bring anything that you had lagging behind up to. They might have patched that at some point, but again, for a guy who doesn't focus on anything, I haven't had a need to even check on it because I just get so much loot thrown at me. By it's hard to do anything in this game and not acquire loot. The problem is just as it's been for the past 2 years, is that we just shred it. It just gets deleted. I'm getting 8 blues per Crucible game, right? Yep.
But that didn't matter, right? Like because all of the gear, like sure they had random rolls, but they weren't.
It's irrelevant, dude. The stat rolls are terrible on them. They're useless.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that like even if you're shredding it, like you want your god roll Armour 2.0 piece now, and if it's not accumulating to your light, then I can see why people are so lethargic with some of the activities. Like,
the only reason I'm playing Gambit right now is for Edgewise.
Yeah.
Same.
Or exit strategy, I'm sorry.
Exit strategy, yeah.
And then once that's done, the only reason I'm going to be running strikes is to get Edgewise.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, I'm not going to be touching, most likely not going to be playing either activity for the rest of the season. Right? The other thing is, like, with Gambit Prime, I don't want to infuse my Gambit Prime armor because I don't want to waste the materials for it.
No.
Right.
But if you think I'm going to go back and get a weekly bounty and do 4 reckoning runs and whatever it is to get a helmet to just drop, you're batshit. You were batshit crazy.
So there was an interesting post on Reddit this week that, like, where they talked about the total cost if you were just to do it through Banshee, if you were just to masterwork all your gear, all your 2.0 gear, and that's so, like, on one set, one exotic, it was something along the lines of 865 enhancement cores, 1,200 mats, and 1.2 million glimmer. Like, it's already a grind if you're doing it that way. There's, of course, there's other avenues, and there's farming routes and all that kind of stuff. Right. But it is insane. I'm, like, thinking about infusing anything right now.
Insane and completely unnecessary. Like, not going to do that. Not going to go through all that to get that done.
I wonder how long it's going to be till the Ascendant, whatever it is used to masterwork armor, gets removed from the game.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering when that gets the because I'm so there's already a player base out there that can't complete endgame activities like the raid. And again, I'm going to go back to this. I feel like the nightmare hunts and whatnot are harder.
Yeah.
For a lot of players. So who's out there trying to do these and getting smacked around, not getting them done? Who's not getting, because how does it, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm ignorant when it comes to running Nightfalls. I've seen no value in doing them, so I haven't done them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to do certain things in order to get the Ascendant drop? Is that a 100K run, killing all the champions?
It's 100. I think it's 100K and 980s. Yeah. You got to get that done.
Right. So am I the one who can see a whole lot of people struggling to get that done?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The enemies in that, you're 100% right, are way more difficult than the raid. I ran the raid from start to finish a couple days ago with a friend of the show, Red Queen. Thanks for the carry, by the way, Queenie. Love you for that. But didn't have any sort of trouble at all. Ran the 980 Nightmare Hunt and was sweating my butt off. Took forever to get done. It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all.
There was one we tried to do. Well, we like pumped it up and we're like, come on. We're 950s now. We're going to be fine.
We got this.
Dude.
Crota will clap you.
There were two of these barrier knights who were just, we didn't even make it to Crota.
They are very angry.
They are very angry.
They coming for that booty, dude. They are coming. You put one shot to them. They turn around like, what did you just do? And then they are booking it. I've never seen, I'll give credit to Bungie. I have never seen AI move that fast in this.
It came for you.
Dude.
It
was like even Fogoth. Like, I must have pissed Fogoth off because he came for that ass too. I had never seen AI move that fast in my life, man. I was like, oh, this is just two guys gonna bounce this way, bounce that way, shoot a couple bolts, and be like,
no,
nope.
He hates you, man. He hates you. He doesn't like
he's
you.
mad.
He's no joke.
He's mad.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that the 980 Nightmare Hunts are difficult. They present a real challenge. They don't have a real benefit towards running them after the first time, but they present a real challenge. And I don't know, the rewards tied to that need to be tied to all these kinds of things. It needs to be better.
You need a little bit more incentive overall.
I want to be clear that I'm okay with the difficulty, and I honestly have yet to find value in masterworking armor, just like I had struggled to find value in year 1 or year 2 in masterworking armor. I'm having a hard time justifying it now because all I really need is a scavenger perk and a targeting perk, or a reload perk, an unflinching and enhanced unflinching, perhaps. I have yet to find like an equation that works where I can use all of the slots and have a really important build for what I'm trying to accomplish as a player.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times what I would want to add, I wouldn't have it would cost too much anyway.
Yeah.
So I have yet to really run into that situation. But people have told me, people who are very good at min-maxing are explaining a lot of this stuff to me in chat while I'm broadcasting. And I'm like, that's awesome for you. I don't know if that applies to how I play this game.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's an interesting situation because I love what they did with Nightfalls. I love that you can spam the 950 Nightfall for those masterwork items.
Mhm.
I love that that's a thing, and I kind of wish they would do the same thing with the Nightmare Hunts. There were some streamers, I think even Professor Broman was talking about this earlier in the week, that what he'd like to see done with the 980s is with the Nightmare Hunts, tie some high stat roll Dreambane armor to them, for goodness sake, so that you can spam those over and over again and get high stat rolled armor for the moon. That would be more than worthwhile, in my opinion, to get me to run the 950 and 980 more often as content there. There's got to be some sort of reward that makes it worthwhile, because just the promise of being able to masterwork one set of gear isn't enough. It's not enough. There's nowhere near enough benefit there for me to justify the cost.
Yeah.
Well, most of us need more than one set of gear to do what we're doing anyway. Like the set of gear I'm running for the raid isn't going to be the same set of gear that I'm running for Crucible. It's not going to be the same set of gear I'm going to run for even activities like Gambit or Nightmare Hunts or Nightfalls for that matter, because there's going to be certain mods that I'm going to want to use on certain weapons that can be more beneficial to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're not talking about like one and done situation here, where we're talking about, let alone all of these sets of armor for one character, multiply that across 3 characters. You've got yourself quite a bit of work to do if you actually want to get to that level, which is okay. But like I said, my main focus is if there's a large player base not getting done the raid, how many of them aren't even attempting these Nightfalls?
Yeah.
Not at all. I would guarantee that there's probably players who haven't touched the 980 at all. Not even once. And that's a shame. There needs to be better incentive there.
Maybe give me something at the Gunsmith where I can trade in other highly like coveted items for a shot at them, whether it's packages, whether it's weapon parts, whether it's tokens, whether it's even mods. Let's say I don't want to use my enhanced linear fusion rifle targeting mod. I want to give that up for a chance at an ascend, whatever it is that ranks up my armor. That would be something, and I have to try and find a way to refarm that mod again if I ever actually wanted it. But for that matter, there should be, I mean, there's so much currency. And is anybody else's inventory looking awful on their character because there's so much currency going around? I still have the things we turn in at the blind well. Like maybe there'd be some kind of other way for us to turn these in. And the other thing I would love is to be able to select a quantity of things I would like to turn in instead of turning in 1 or 5 things at a time. If I've got 100 tokens, I'll give you 100 tokens. I don't know.
Yeah, there's just so much currency in this game.
There's a lot of currency.
There's just so much, and it's overwhelming. I'm still overwhelmed. I started feeling overwhelmed on the drop of Shadowkeep, and I'm still like, what do I do with what now? Okay.
All the weapons that we have to forge in the Vex offensive that are clogging up my spot, and then
those things are everywhere
of jewelry that we have to like Sheila's necklace or something. You got to go and find all the pieces for
the essence nonsense and the memories and
And what makes it worse is that have any of the weapons really grabbed you guys yet? Is there a weapon that has come out in Shadowkeep that you're like, boom, dude, that's the new one that's taking up my spot right here. I'm going to take this with me everywhere I go.
I got a nice subjunctive that I like quite a bit for PvP. It is not...
How do you use an SMG that isn't Recluse?
Exactly.
I didn't know it was possible.
So the role that I have, it has like Swashbuckler and something else on it. But I've been finding that like it might be a little subpar at times to Recluse, but like it's an alternative that I've been enjoying using. It is Threat Detector Swashbuckler.
Okay.
With a masterwork on range. And that's all I've needed. I haven't, like... I know it sounds weird, But I did several things without Recluse, because I'm just trying to find ways to shake up my meta, like what I'm using, and it's tough.
Right, so we're gonna raid. You're gonna bring your the name itself is
subjunctive.
You're gonna bring your subjunctive over the mountain or over the Recluse. I feel like subjunctive is something you'd use. I'm gonna run some strikes. I don't feel like opening up dim. I've got this on my character already. I'll use that to come and kind of do what we do.
Get this gunsmith bounty done. Yeah.
Right. That's one thing, but
I'm actually more likely to use it in PvP. I'm not going to take that one into the raid, right? I'm not going to take it into the raid because there's other things that I could be running, and I feel like I'd be a detriment to my team if I weren't running them, right? Like, if I'm not wearing a Recluse, if I'm not wearing the 21% delirium, then I'm like in the raid during certain phases of that, I am letting my team down. And I'm trying not to do that. So, but in other ways, if I can find something that works for me, I'm going to do it. And because it's always, how many times do you get killed by Recluse? And you're like, another Recluse. I got killed by another, and like
in Crucible.
Well, yeah, and like you see certain things in your kill feed all the time, and you're just like, blah 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 blah. All right, fine, but when you get killed by something that's off meta, or just like a little off of center, you kind of appreciate it more.
There's almost no meta right now in Crucible. Like, weapons are kind of all over the place. I think, like, because of Randy's throwing knife, scout rifles are just everywhere.
Yeah,
they're just all over the place right now, which has kind of made the meta not really define itself yet. But the more I play, the more it really feels like pulse rifles are still kind of ruling the space. Outlast, if you guys have an Outlast with Kill Clip Feeding Frenzy on it, that thing is. It's a sidearm that has the range of a pulse rifle. It is obnoxious. That weapon is insane.
Good gun.
The raid pulse rifle is getting a lot of really good reviews from a lot of people. But like, I'm just if anything, that might be one of the ones, right? I think the raid shotgun is really fun to use. I got one of those with 1-2 punch. I was using it today in Gambit to clear out some of the stuff you got to do for exit strategy.
Yeah,
and the auto rifle from the raid is grabbing a lot of people as a Recluse that has more ammo and better range. If you get it with a damage perk on top of it, rampage.
It's a pretty good auto rifle.
It's a pretty good auto rifle that people have been substituting in for Recluse. And the pulse rifle has been something that people have been gravitating towards in Crucible. It's a slower firing one, but it still does a pretty good job. But I'm looking for something from this content and this season that just makes me want to put whatever else I was using down.
Yeah.
And they're like, I've got a really good AR to still use the Recluse. I've got a really good Tranquility. I still use the Beloved if I'm going to snipe. Like the Recluse is like impossible to put down still. Like even after all the nerfs and stuff like that, it still just carves enemies up. I'm just wondering when we're finally going to get these guns that are going to be like, all right, we're into the new content. We've got to figure out what we're going to use to be effective players anymore. And part of me kind of wishes that we weren't able to infuse stuff from last season.
Right.
That we were kind of forced to work our way through the new weapons and figure out what was good. Because first, the weapons from the Vex Offensive to me are difficult to use because they have leaves on them that ruin sight lines. Like, it sounds crazy.
They are a little weird, yeah.
But the Optative is difficult to use because I feel like it doesn't have a sight with all of the foliage going on it. It makes it kind of difficult to see while you're using it. If not your target, it makes it kind of difficult to evaluate the area around you as well. I haven't really looked at the other weapons because the Optative gave me such a bad taste in my mouth. The aesthetic of the Moon weapons is, I mean, they're gorgeous. They are like so beautiful, but they're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. And that kind of brings us to what's got to be a dilemma for Bungie and their design department whenever they're coming up with new content and new weapons and whatnot, because they have to be faced with the question internally of, okay, how do we get people off of their Recluse without taking their Recluse from them?
Yeah.
because obviously they don't want to take things away from people. They don't want to say, okay, we've got a new season of content happening. Your Mountaintop, Recluse, and Hammerhead are disabled, or you can't bring them forward or something like that, because they know they have a crisis on their hands if they do that. But how do they get people to drop those guns and try the new ones?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. You had to be there to experience it mentality for a looter shooter MMO style game. I really don't. Like if the Recluse was available at the very beginning of a season and you didn't get it until the last day of the season, I kind of feel like that's on you.
Yeah.
Right? Like you made that decision consciously. We're here to offer you this product. If you would like to consume this product, it is here for you to grab. You decide not to get it until day one, like there's plenty of activities in this game where power level isn't enabled, or it's very generous if it is. So like even if you couldn't infuse a Recluse and bring it with you, there were still things for you to do where you can enjoy it.
Yeah. It creates a scarcity in that way that might be needed. Like their original intent with the Pinnacle weapons that we got in Destiny Year 2, that might have been a good idea overall. Just create some sort of scarcity.
Those were, I mean, the Pinnacle weapons were originally supposed to be things that were only available in a short period of time, and if you didn't get it in that short period of time,
fear of missing out. Yeah. FOMO. It works.
It definitely works. Yeah. I don't know if I would 100% agree with blocking people from infusing their guns up, but I see the problem there. It's the same sort of issue that happened in, say, year 1 of Destiny 1. You know, everybody got their Vision of Confluence, everybody got their Fatebringer, and that's all that they were using. And Bungie made the executive decision there to get people off of those guns was to not let them move forward when Taken King came out, and just basically hit the reset button on the sandbox. So I don't know if I'd be completely in favor of them doing that again. But you're right, it is a real issue. How do they get people off of these guns that have so centralized the loadouts and basically all of the content? Recluse is used everywhere. Yeah, absolutely everywhere because of how good of a gun it is. I would go as far. Recluse is probably point for point the best gun in the game. I would say.
I agree. So my comeback for your statement would be that the Fatebringer and the Vision of Confluence were RNG drops from a raid. There was no clear path to acquire them, whereas the Recluse, do this, get it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, that's true. And when we think about these weapons that they're just everywhere, like it really is the Pinnacle weapons only that are those ones that we just kind of see brought forward. You know what I mean? Like even Mountaintop for a lot of these people in Iron Banner. I mean, a lot of people were getting one shot by it because they were lower light. So it even had value there. So if these weapons were locked and unable to be infused, creating you had to be there to get it kind of mentality. I don't think it would be the same exact comparison to weapons that were RNG drops from raids, RNG drops from areas, because you aren't guaranteed to get it. There was no complete task at hand in order for you to acquire those weapons. So that's my only argument, especially as it correlates to Recluse, because Dan's right. Maybe he does have a wonderful subjunctive, subconjunctivitis, whatever it's called. But like, I don't know if I'll ever see the light of day on a weapon like that, because Recluse just dominates that space. There's always going to be something that does dominate that space, but why can't it be the new gun?
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's a complicated issue. I don't know if there's any clear way to go forward there. And I know that this has to be a conversation that Bungie has had internally.
Yeah.
It has to be one that they probably have at the start of every season. And there's probably no really good answer to move forward there. I see a lot of people in chat talking about making Recluse an exotic. Yeah. I've heard that bounced around a couple times just because of the power of the Master.
It is an exotic. Just do it.
That's an exotic ability. Master of Arms is an exotic ability with how powerful that thing is. But
well, and
no clue what they do here.
There's some people who are talking about nerfs for it too. It's like, what would you do to nerf it to like make it less useful? And why would you do that to a weapon that is almost like so ubiquitous in this game?
Why can't we take these perks that make these Pinnacle seasonal weapons so special and put them on exotic armor?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to master whatever it's called, Master at Arms perk? Well, you have to have Warlock gauntlets to have it. Now I'm sacrificing my Lunafactions or my Transversives in order to get this extra damage boost that's applicable to maybe all SMGs. Not just recluse. Maybe I can get it on a, God forbid, a hard truths or a pillager with 10 bullets in it. You know what I mean? So like the pillager only has like 12 rounds and it's like an SMG. It's a joke, but yeah, that's it. Time to reload. So
there you go.
that's all I'm saying. Like I wonder, because exotic armor is still just such shit outside of like 3 pieces. Why can't some of these perks that make weapons so good and put them on armor instead of putting them on a gun? And maybe you could even do something where you make it not class specific. So maybe there's a one where all master arms is available for all 3 characters versus just one.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm thinking. Like I'm just kind of like, we're getting those new content. We're getting all these new things to do. We're still using the same guns to do it. I have yet to use a new weapon in any one aspect of any of the new content. I might use an edgewise to take on Crota next time Crota is available, but that might be about it.
Right.
You know?
I don't know what the answer is. But
that's a tough one.
Shall we move on to the things that are going on next week?
Absolutely.
We haven't even touched them yet.
I mean, we kind of talked about the dungeon and then moved on to how we're worried about the reward system that's going to be in there. So I guess we could finish up that conversation there, because of course we've got the new dungeon dropping. We don't know too much about it unless you data mine things and take a look. But looks like it's going to be interesting. I assume it's going to be like Shattered Thrones. It'll be a 3-part dungeon experience with a big boss at the end that'll have some sort of big lore implications. I wonder if it's going to be on a 3-week rotation like Shattered Throne was, or is this going to be something you guys think it's going to be something available every week?
I think it's a misstep, especially given the amount of Pinnacle rewards that were lack thereof. This needs to be in every reset thing. Yeah, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So, and that leads me into another question. So if it's an every week thing with Pinnacle rewards, what do you want to see drop from this?
We need power. We need an opportunity to gain power weapons as Pinnacle rewards, because you're not going to get it from Iron Banner, right? I don't think you can get a Swarm of the Raven. I don't know. I haven't gotten a powerful reward from Iron Banner, even though I didn't play that much of it.
I think Swarm of the Raven did still drop. I want to say it
as a Pinnacle.
Well, I don't know as a Pinnacle. I didn't get it as my Pinnacle rewards. I got it from packages.
Oh, you can still get it to drop. I just don't know if it drops. I don't know if I don't know if it's only armor that drops as Pinnacle. Is what I'm saying. I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know how that was.
Brain of Iron Banner. But we need opportunity to power weapon first and foremost, and more opportunity. I can't imagine it's going to be armor. What's the point, right? What's the point of having a dungeon and the reward being armor pieces? What would they even be? Would they be the Dreambane set?
It looks something nice. Like or ornaments. Honestly, why there aren't more ornaments now, I don't know. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, I don't know what they'd add. Because Dreambane covers damage on the moon pretty much.
Yeah.
For what we'd be fighting in the dungeon, as far as we know. Yeah, I would have to think that it would be like a sub-suite of weapons.
Right. Like, and that's what I was thinking of there. If it's going to be powerful or Pinnacle drops, that's cool and all. But if it's like the exact same, what drop pool is going to be coming in here? Is it going to be the essence weapons that can possibly drop from this dungeon? Is it just going to be Dreambane armor that can drop from this dungeon? Does it have a unique series of gear that drops from it? I think that would be the best option.
Yeah, Nightmare armor would be awesome, dude. Nightmare
armor.
I want a Nightmare skin for 1,000 voices, dude. I want that thing to be red.
Oh, with that translucent look.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool. Be down with that.
Wouldn't that be cool if that dropped from like the dungeon? It won't. Yeah. It's not going to happen. It's not going to have its own unique set of gear, probably, but that'd be cool.
Yeah, Mr. Puffheads keeps saying pulse rifle over and over in chat, so I don't know, man.
There's 2 kinetics in the raid right now. It's the pulse rifle and the bow, right?
The bow.
And then there's 5 energy weapons, and then there's the armor set. So there's no power weapon.
Yep.
I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a power weapon as a Pinnacle reward somewhere in there.
Offset it. 5 kinetics, 2 energies.
I don't think the loophole is gonna be that massive. I just don't think it's gonna be that huge. I think it's gonna be like 4 weapons, maybe 3.
Yeah.
is what we're gonna have opportunities at. And it might even be things that flip flop. We might get a kinetic hand cannon. Since the one from the raid is energy, you know, we might get a kinetic shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we got a pulse rifle, I'd almost imagine it would be energy since we got a kinetic one. Oh,
probably.
Nim Plays says dungeon will have 3 weapon drops that I know of for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kinds of rewards drop in there. But, you know, as of right now, we don't really know too much about what's going to be happening when we get in there and what we'll be going up against. But I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely loved Shattered Throne. It's some of my favorite content in the game. Just the exploration and mystery that surrounded that thing when it initially popped up. We've talked about this on previous shows. I kind of wish they hadn't spoiled that there was a dungeon and when that dungeon was launching.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome if coming on this coming Tuesday, reset happens, somebody's just out and about on the world and they notice this wasn't here before.
Yeah.
Where does this lead to? And suddenly they're inside the dungeon and it's like the exploration and surprise and mystery of it was one of my favorite things from Forsaken. And I am a little bit bummed that they spoiled the surprise so early. But
yeah,
it's just me.
I think they had to.
You think so?
Yeah, with the way that data mining works and whatnot, and you're also remember what you're competing against with games like Call of Duty, games like Borderlands 3, games like Outer Worlds, all these things. You are competing within the space to keep people's attention and to give people reason and value behind the content that they're consuming this week and the week prior to get ready for something like a dungeon coming out. Because the last thing that I think you'd want it to be as a player base is to not focus on leveling and be 920. And then this new awesome dungeon comes out and you can't participate because you're just going to get annihilated when you do. So I think it's right. As much as I agree with you, I understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's certainly a concern. And gotta keep people hooked on that carrot on the stick, especially with a game like Destiny. But I am looking forward to it. I'm still super psyched about the dungeon. I know our buddy Nim there in the chat is ready. He is ready to dive on in there and go exploring. But it's not the only thing that's happening this week. Good Lord, it's not the only thing that's happening this week. Festival of the Lost is returning. The big holiday event, the Halloween event for Destiny 2 is coming back, and it looks like it's gonna be fairly similar to last year's event, where you go, you get masks, you're gonna be building up candy and whatnot with old Ava Levante to turn in for packages and stuff like that, and you'll be diving in to the Haunted Forest activity, which is returning from last year's festival, where basically you're just going in, you're killing enemies, you're making your way as far into the forest as possible, clearing as many branches as possible before fighting a boss at the end of a 15-minute period. And the further in you get, the more rewards you'll get when you complete the activity. And then you take those rewards back to Ava and you turn them in for packages and candy and stuff like that. So I'm happy this event's coming back. I thought it was pretty good last year. I absolutely loved the mask system and the mods that you could get for the mask inside the Haunted Forest. We talked about this a year or so ago. Those mods, if you remember, they were significantly powerful. They were pretty darn powerful in the Haunted Forest activity. And I was so thrilled going through the article earlier in the week to see that those mods are indeed returning for this Festival of the Lost. We've got 5 brand new masks. I do believe Dan just showed them on screen.
Yeah.
But additionally, if you played, well, here's something that real cool that they're doing that I had to personally thank Bungie for when I was covering this content. Something that they're doing with the masks. There's only one helmet that's going to be tied to this event, and all the masks are ornaments for that helmet.
That's cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need 10 spaces on my character to shove a bunch of different individual masks. So much better. And if you were around last year to play the Festival of the Lost, the mask that you got last year, like the chicken mask, I think the Cryptarch mask was in there, Aldrin's face or something like that. Those will be available as ornaments on this new headset as well.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I just deleted mine before Shadowkeep came out. I actually held them because chat was yelling at me to empty my vault.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of mad because I think they would have still worked.
Possibly.
I still have
I'll
a
have to
couple.
test that out.
I still have a
I
couple.
still got all mine. Yeah, I still have at least the 3 that I fully maxed out.
You guys don't listen to chat. You guys are smarter than me.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, you can't listen to chat. Sometimes you just can't listen to chat. Oh shit. Maybe I did listen to chat because I'm not finding any of them.
I've got mine, baby. I'll never delete you, chicken mask. I'll never betray you, Colonel.
Just pretty bird.
The rewards look really cool. I just like I mean we had this conversation last year. It was like I need to do how many passes to get the whatever the hell the damn auto rifle is called. Like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna go do what's actually fun.
The Braid Tech Werewolf is the name.
Cute, Bungie. That's real cute.
It looks pretty nice.
So yeah, the ultimate reward for the Festival of the Lost last year, doing like 200 runs through the Haunted Forest.
200 branches.
200 branches. It was an egregious number of branches and a ton of time you had to spend in there. Last year, it granted you the Horror Story auto rifle, which was a recolored origin story that wasn't worth it at all. Not at all. I think I still got mine here in dim somewhere. It was just like, yeah, here it is. It was just this basic bitch version of the origin story with a slightly different overall paint job. And this time around, we're getting the Braytech Werewolf, which is a recoloring of the Braytech Winter Wolf auto rifle, which is a better auto rifle. Yeah, it's cool looking. It's a better auto rifle than the Horror Story was. And the color scheme on it actually looks kind of decent. Hopefully, it's got a decent set of perks on it that make the grind worth it, because the Horror Story was not worth it.
It better not be no 200 branches either, because that's not happening.
It's 800.
But you know it will be.
I mean, what was the average completion for a team of decent players? Like 8, 9?
10, yeah, maybe about 10 branches.
Yeah, so it's like...
I think the farthest I got was like 15.
Same.
15, maybe 16 branches, I think. But yeah, and like last year, that was my only complaint, because I like the idea of the Haunted Forest. I thought that was a neat activity, and it's possible that we have some new Light Guardians watching, so I'm not going to spoil anything about the forest, but the special surprise you're going to run into in the Haunted Forest was a pretty neat surprise.
It was Beetlejuice.
It was Beetlejuice. Somebody said his name 3 times, and
it wasn't Beetlejuice.
It absolutely.
He's here now.
That's 3 times. Michael Keaton is in your house somewhere right now, waiting for you.
Multiversity was so much better than Beetlejuice.
But it was a fun activity. I thought it was a cute event and all that kind of stuff. I love the masks and the mod system and all that. But good God, it took way too long to get the Horror Story, and it was not worth it. I don't think I used it once.
Yeah.
It's just not a well-rolled weapon. Stat-wise, wasn't great. It was just, hopefully this time around, it's going to be a bit more worth your time to get the Braytech Werewolf. At least it's got a pretty shader applied to it. Maybe you'll actually get it if you dismantle it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
oh my God.
Maybe that's the prize. Dismantle the werewolf and get the shader.
So I'm gonna show on the screen the armor with the with that translucent skeletal mess.
It looks so good.
It looks
cool.
good. People
real cool.
People on the Reddit are like, "Is that a super black shader? Is that Are we gonna get a super black shader for this armor set?" And if so, awesome.
Right? We've got some other throwbacks in there. So the armor set looks awesome. The ornaments look awesome. The skull look with the neon lights is super spooky and great. I do believe you get that particular armor set from Ava, right?
Yep.
That dropped from the Ava packages.
Yes.
Awesome.
Does that kind of like remind you a little bit of Warframe in the way that the color schemes kind of look?
Very bright.
A little bit of Warframe action going on there. It kind of reminds me a little bit about
Maybe
Warframe, and I would love it if Bungie kind of went that direction, because if this is kind of like foreshadowing of some of the cosmetics that are coming down the pipeline, which have already been very good.
Yeah.
Like, I think Destiny is poised to be in a really good spot as we progress through content, because it looks like every time, the Bungie art team, they're so good. They're so good at what they do. I'm kind of surprised it took this long to kind of get some of these shaders and some of these color schemes going the way that they are. We first saw a little bit of it in Gambit, with Gambit Prime, and even so much like the Gambit Prime jerseys that we were awarded that I earned like a week after it was too late to order them. I'm not mad about it though.
Not mad,
like
clearly.
I'm not mad. So like I'm kind of starting to see that vibe come back a little bit, and I think like I don't know if it's the hot rod like fan in me, but like I like seeing these stark differences in contrast and colors, and I like seeing the black and the yellow and the black and the red and the black and the turquoise even kind of going on there. Like I want more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And less Tangled Shore armor.
Yes.
Much less Tangled Shore armor. Good God.
Well, I wonder.
Random bubbles and spikes.
I almost wonder if those are ornaments. Like if the armor is separate and
could be
those glows are ornamental, which would be interesting.
I think that is the case. I'm looking at the articles that Bungie posted now, and they say the spooky, scary skeleton armor ornaments are going to be available in Eververse.
Spooky, scary.
So that's why everybody's talking about storing all their bright dust.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's talking about doing all the bright dust bounties and stuff like that. So apparently you're gonna be able to buy them via silver and or bright dust. I have 40k bright dust right now, so stand by on whether or not that's enough to purchase everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't really spend currency.
Yeah. I think
so. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so yeah, it looks like
one of you guys go ahead.
Go ahead.
The scary ornaments are gonna be Eververse.
Yeah, the good ones. Yeah,
the good ones. The good ones. Will be Eververse.
Good armor pieces. Well, not only that, but you have like you're gonna have the broom sparrow back. You're gonna have.
As long as it's not a glimmer spitting, one glimmer at a time slay.
Dude, I refuse to get that during that event. I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
I have it somewhere.
I hate it. Like Jaden would bring it out to just terrorize me. But
dude,
the broom sparrow looks pretty freaking cool.
Dude, speaking of sparrows, did you see the Yotun sparrow?
Yes.
They turned the toaster into a sparrow.
They just keep doing it. They just keep turning guns into sparrows. Fighting lion sparrow, Jotun sparrow. What's going to be next? Good Lord. But I was super happy to see the broom sparrow come back.
It's not even a sparrow. It's just a whatever.
It's a flying broomstick. So you can fly around and be the Errantil witch you always wanted to be. My only
sparrow for that.
Oh, good. My only thing there is Bungie has a really, really questionable and bad habit of making it so that certain things are only active during certain events.
You were specifically talking about the ornaments that showed all of the horns and the whatnot during was it solstice or was it
solstice or not solstice, the spring event. The whatever the no, that wasn't the solstice, but that was the dawn, not the dawning. The dawning is the winter one, but I got to complain about that one too. But the spring event, the armor ornaments disappearing after the event went away.
Yeah, the revelry gear.
The revelry, that was it. And last year, when we had the dawning event with the sparrow that Dan hates, the Jingle Bell Sparrow, it lost its ability after the dawning went away.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it now.
If these are ornaments, then they're permanent.
Yes, right? But I want if there's
armor
any kind of
ornaments, then they'll be permanent. That'll be the way that they make them permanent, correct?
It had better be. It had better be permanent because, well, no, because the revelry ornaments were limited. That went away.
Kind of
better not. You had better not. Bungie.
I thought they made a statement saying that they weren't going to do that anymore.
I hope so.
I thought they'd come out and literally said that they weren't going to stop that.
Yeah. What I bet they do is that the armor that is shown probably drops from the forest. Like, and then the ornaments on top of it would drop.
Come from Eververse?
Yeah, would come from Eververse. That would be my bet.
I hope so.
But who knows? Who really
I just want to be a spooky, scary skeleton.
Yeah.
24/7, 365. Don't make my ornament worthless once the event goes away. And don't take away my sparrow this time. Because remember, they took away the broom sparrow.
That's why I don't see it anymore. I was wondering where it went.
I just can't wait.
I
can't wait to use this emote on people.
What emote is it?
It's the slamming a grave into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
What? Like a headstone?
You haven't seen this? Oh, man. Check the link in chat. It's there. The very bottom of it. Yeah, you get to slam a headstone into the ground.
I can see that being used heavily in Crucible or Gambit.
Oh.
I'm going to be doing that to the guy who bagged me and I annihilated. I'm going to go find him in Gambit and do it to him again.
Drop a grave on him. There it is.
And every super that I've fusion rifle out of it.
Yeah.
I just get people to wave lately or play the trombone, but that could be a good. I don't know. The trombone is so fitting.
It is pretty good.
No,
I don't know, but dropping their gravestone, I think.
Dude, we need. All right, time out. You ever watch The Price is Right?
Yes.
The Price is Right. And there's that sound where you get where like something bad happens. It's like
bum, 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 bum,
what instrument is that?
I believe that's
is that a saxophone, like a baritone sax?
No. I think that's.
Oh, it's a tuba.
Ba, 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 I think
is that one instrument?
I think you're looking at maybe 3, maybe 4.
We need that, and I need my hunter to play all 3 of them when I start killing people in Crucible. I need. He
just becomes a one-man band.
Yeah, dude, I'm done. Like the bass drum on the back.
Oh my god!
Like the cymbals on his knees. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good.
That needs to be an emote right
Bungie.
now.
That will never get cleared.
Bungie. We need it. It's the only thing could be better than the trombone would be that sound.
That will never. You'd have to do a sound alike. There's no way that would get cleared.
That would never make it through copyright.
Bungie should just pay them for it. Pay the royalties for it.
I think they'll make enough off of silver purchases for that. I'll buy that.
I have never spent silver in my life. I will absolutely spend it for that.
I'll drop a 20 bomb for that.
Yeah, I would pay for it. Yep.
External in chat has it right. Somebody asked Schecter.
There we go. But that's fun. Festival of the Lost. It's going to be starting up on Tuesday. Very similar to last year's events. If you played that, you won't be too surprised by anything that's going to be going on there.
Right.
What else did we have going on this week? That's the dungeon. That's festival. Xenophage.
Yeah.
Is happening. The exotic quest for the Xenophage LMG is going to be going live. It is an explosive rounds LMG. I think it's only got 3 rounds in the magazine, and it kind of is like almost like a railgun. You charge it up and fire it.
Right.
And Nim got a chance to play with it at PAX. He said it was a very, very weird but interesting LMG. Can't wait to see what that's going to be. What that's going to be doing. I want to see what kind of damage that thing can put out, because explosive rounds on a heavy hitting gun like an LMG could cause some problems. I wonder where it would fit.
I love how it has like a belt, like a bullet belt going into a clip, but it only has 3 bullets in it.
3 shots. Yeah.
Like, what actually is that?
It's an aesthetic choice.
It's set also, dressing. Don't worry about it.
It's got more than 3 rounds there on the belt. So like it's just, whoever was designing this just went through the extreme aesthetic choices.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
3 shots. All right, let me throw away this magazine with the rest of these empty shells.
Yeah.
Interesting gun, though. Definitely an interesting looking weapon.
Yeah.
So, I wondered, that kind of ties us back to where we started this conversation with the Leviathan's Breath. Do you think it's going to be another 1.5, 2 hour quest chain?
I don't think it's going to be worth it being longer than that. Like,
yeah.
Or if you're going to make a quest that long and make it difficult, you'd have to ask yourself if the reward was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a knock on Bungie, not a knock on these weapons, but they seem like specialty, kind of fun to use, not actually applicable for a lot of situations. So I don't think it's going to be too long.
Exotic, goofy. Like we've asked for variety and weirdness and a lot of these turns. I think that's what we're starting to see a little bit more of.
We're getting it.
Yeah. Get weird with it.
We're definitely getting some weird exotics. And between Ariana's Vow and the Leviathan's Breath, it also covers some of the new anti-champion abilities. With Ariana's Vow, anti-barrier. With Leviathan's Breath, I think that's unstoppable. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Xenophage had like some kind of built-in overload
Yeah.
ability to do it too, which is cool. We've definitely gotten some weird exotics with the way these things have performed. I mean, a heavy bow that pushes people.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. An LMG that only has 3 shots but they blow up, or a gigantic hand cannon that fires sniper rounds that bypass shields. Which, by the way, have you guys seen that anti-barrier rounds work on Argos in the
Yes!
Inner Worlds?
Yeah. I saw
That's
that.
wild.
I saw that on Twitter. That's insane.
Yeah, you can clear him without doing mechanics. It's a little wild.
Can you actually do enough damage to kill him?
I think eventually, but he might enrage before you actually.
You're going to keep pegging him like this for a while, but eventually you get enough people doing that, it's going to be fine.
Can you put them on the Sweet Business?
No, they do not go on exotics, which is dumb.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Bungie, for not doing for not making. Well, I can see somebody adding a different mod on there, making her exotic.
I want an anti-barrier Sweet Business. I want it. I want my anti-barrier Sweet Business. Look, I'm okay. I'll take not being able to put any of these mods on heavy weapons. I'll take that. So no overload machine guns. Whatever. But at least before Xenophage. But geez, at least let us put them on some of the exotic weapons we've got. Like some of the exotic primaries could really benefit from that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That bothers me when I'm trying to figure out a loadout for a 980 Nightfall or a Master Nightmare House. Oh, never mind. I got to take off my Monte Carlo because I can't put a mod on it that I absolutely 100% need to complete this content.
I don't find myself using exotics much this season, but that's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have Monte Carlo because Bungie wants to continue to give me the currently disabled God, what's it called? The fusion rifle they turned off. Telesto. Gotten 3 Telestos this week. 3. It's not even able to be equipped.
Robbed.
I hate to tell you this, but I got it today, and I
hope you enjoy it.
I haven't used it. I haven't used it.
You
I got it today.
To.
All right.
You kind of.
You put that on
an
an
shot.
arc battery Titan, dude. You're just
It's Murderfest.
Monte Carlo. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's a solid auto rifle on its own, but its ability is so powerful. You basically get your melee charge back every other enemy kill. So you mix it with a Titan with Peregrines, you're shoulder charging everything.
Okay, cool.
100% uptime. Give it a shot. Monte Carlo's great.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm good with that. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess the Menagerie boss is also can also be taken down with that strat. That's insane.
Right through the shield. That's pretty cool. When they said anti-barrier, they meant anti-barrier. I think the only thing it doesn't shoot through is Ward of Dawn. Which
enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts.
I think they'll leave it like that. I don't think there's going to be a problem with it. I think it's doing exactly what they designed it to do.
Yeah, but it's going away at the end of the season, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant they were going to change
part of the artifact.
No, nope, right, part of the artifact. They'll get rid of it. That's kind of like with the ordeal. Like how I've been thinking about it is like, okay, so barrier and like unstoppable enemies will probably disappear after this season.
We'll have no way to combat them. So
exactly. You'll have no way to combat them. Something new will come into the ordeal that will involve you needing to strategize with those new mods.
So, that's really interesting because I didn't really think about it like that. You're right. Nightmare hunts and all that kind of things probably going to go away at the end of this season. So what are they going to replace that challenge with in the upcoming season? Huh.
Me no know.
That's neat because whatever it is, of course, it's going to be tied in with the new artifact that we'll be getting at the start of the next season, which I think starts at the end of next month, right?
I believe so.
End of November.
First week of December would be around the same time frame that Bungie's used to giving us the next bit of content.
That's interesting. So those champions disappearing.
Oh no! So the nightmare hunts wouldn't be going anywhere. That would be the Vex offensive stuff would be going away.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye. I'll open the door for that. Let me help you out. I'll just
No more sleeping through that that 15-minute activity. Yeah, you're
What
right.
what I mean, well, we haven't seen the Undying Mind yet. So it's kind of hard. It's a harsh judgment of it right now. But the weapons don't appear to be very good.
Yep.
The activity itself is really only good for one of the most beautiful seals that I've ever seen Bungie create. The Triumph seal for Season of Undying is gorgeous, but that's really the only value that it appears to have to me. Unless the Undying Mind comes and it's this like crazy shit show of run and gun chaos.
I can't wait. I hope so. I really hope so.
We'll just have to see. Yeah, get your stuff done in Vex Offensive now.
Yeah.
Get the snooze fest done in there now so you can get your pretty seal and move on to whatever Bungie's got going on next. But all right, there we go. Was that all the news that we had this week?
Pretty much. There was an interesting article on Reddit that I wanted to talk about, just touch on, because it was really well researched, talking about Armour 2.0 and how random rolls are generated there.
Right, yeah.
So just like a basic overview, this will be a really cool resource for people who are theory crafting your armor sets and everything. It seems that when you roll a new set of 2.0 armor, and you've probably seen this anecdotally and not even thought about it, or thought about it and been like, I wonder if that's like a hard and fast rule. But it seems that when this user has gone into the API and has found that when you roll a piece of armor, when it drops, it randomly rolls 2 quadrants separately. And that is the Destiny 1 cluster and the Destiny 2 cluster. All of those make up your core 6, your mobility, your recovery, your resilience, your intelligence, your discipline, and your strength. Now, according to his findings, you're not going to have a roll that in the first cluster there's going to be two of those core 6 stats that are high. So you're not going to have like a really high recovery, really high mobility set of gear. You're instead going to have like a really high set of recovery and a really high set of intellect, that kind of gear. Mm-hmm. So those all roll separately. He also talks about having like a god roll would be a 68 on a regular legendary piece. That means that 34 would be in the core cluster with a max of 30 on one of the stats, and 34 on the second cluster with a max of 30 on the second stat. It's all pretty interesting, insane stuff. Definitely worth a read. I would actually like star it and pin it to your dashboard of any browser you're using, because it's a pretty good article overall.
It screams cost saving to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want Bungie to make money. I want them to continue making this amazing game. Nothing wrong with the fact that it's cost saving. But at face value, that's what it seemed. We can just import this data set from pre-existing, numbers, pop it on in, and start plugging away at it. It does kind of like everybody who might not have known until that article popped was really talking about, especially on a hunter, you want, max mobility, max recovery. You know what I mean? It's maybe just in Crucible in general. A lot of people, it's really about how quickly you can move and how much recovery you can get. And now in order to create your God roll armor sets, you really have to rely on some of these mods that you pop into the spot, whether it's a recovery or a mobility mod.
And you can't get that max mobility, max recovery. Turns out that's just not an option there. You can't get 30 in both of those stats. It'll always be 30 in bracket 1 for mobility, recovery, and resilience, and 30 in bracket 2 for intellect, discipline, and strength. You never get the max stat roll.
The 551 or the 442 or whatever it was, the 5, from D1, those rolls aren't going to be available for people.
So it's definitely a great resource for theory crafting what your ultimate armor set is going to look like. If you can get lucky enough to actually get high stat rolled armor, good luck.
The majority of stuff from just the general playing of the game doesn't really roll high stats, 50s and below for the most part. Most of that stuff we saw I have to go back and look at my raid armor because I was running them so quickly and working on triumphs that I didn't even kind of look at the drops to see if any of the raid armor dropped at high stat rolls or not. Because I didn't know this because the first couple of times through because my RNG has been terrible. But when you run the raid, you can get armor from including the encounter, but you can also get it from the chests.
Yes.
And I'm trying to see if there's a difference in the stat rolls between the chests and the ones you earn from the encounter because if what my theory is correct, that the armor from the chest is going to be a relatively low stat roll. That's what I'm thinking.
I wonder if it's tied to the powerful drops because the chest stuff isn't powerful.
Right. So then I wouldn't wonder if I can actually even look right now.
Yeah. I would think that would come from that first loot pool where it's like a max stat of 68.
So my chest gauntlets for my hunter dropped at a 56.
Yeah.
Okay. Chest, right? And where's my warlock?
Yeah, I'm looking at my raid gauntlets right now, and my total stat allocation
55.
on them is 69.
55, 57.
Yeah, it is.
You put a mod on them?
Yeah, it's got mods on it though.
So it's 59 then.
59, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just looks like my stat rolls are terrible.
I think it's going to be finding a unicorn in a forest full of imps and pixies to get a really, really great gear roll.
It's either
Iron Banner. It isn't that. It's literally going through the frustrations that are Iron Banner for me anyway.
That's what I was going to say. It's either finding that unicorn or going to Lord Saladin because Lord Saladin was the only consistent source of 60 plus gear for me. That was how I got a full set of 60 plus gear on my warlock. That was the only way, and that's a little mind-blowing.
Yeah, and oh man, Kosu brings up another thing. I wish that you could slot a different affinity into stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Exotics need to have it. Exotics need it. There's so many exotics that are specifically meant for certain weapons. Like I just put the example in chat. I got Oath Keepers that I can't put bow perks on.
Yeah.
Big brain play.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man. I don't know. Yeah, that blows my mind. Like I want to be able to slot in a different affinity. That would be super nice.
I got to be honest with you. I don't want to have to go back and re-get every piece of exotic armor I ever got this entirety of the game just to be able to get it to 2.0. Right. And have to worry about affinity over top of it. I kind of feel like that's bullshit. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to stat rolls. It's an exotic. Maybe you should maximize the stat rolls for that piece of armor for what it's suited for. Like if it's Stompies, put max mobility on it. You know what I mean? And make it static and make us be able to change the element to suit how we want to play. That would be, and maybe that's something that's coming that they couldn't finish in time for Armor 2.0 to release. Yeah. But it's not we shouldn't have to try and re-earn everything because you change the armor set halfway through this entire game.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous system. I'm sitting here looking at my Nezarec Sin at 951, and it's like total stat roll 46, and just
right. Is that out of your collections though?
No, it was a drop.
It was a drop. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Disgusting. And I think there needs to be a major rework, especially when it comes to affinity. I don't even think mods should have any sort of affinity. You should be able to just if they're not going to curate exactly what's going to be able to be available on them, then they should just be able to equip whatever.
Yeah,
that would be the other alternative, is just to completely remove affinity from them at all.
Remove affinity. Remove affinity, but still keep like the armor slot, like the armor slot. So like this can only show up on greaves. This can only show up on legs.
Yes,
like that would make the most sense to me. But
right now there's some nonsense going on there. Good Lord.
Overall, so a couple weeks ago, I don't know if just the last thing before we get into questions. Also, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. So a couple weeks back, I don't know how I missed this, but Xur's rolls seem like they're pulled out of your collections. That we've seen the past couple weeks. I guess that is a bug. So that will change sometime soon.
That's fantastic to hear, because it's pretty bad going to Xur week in and week out and seeing like stat rolls in the mid 40s for everything. And it's like,
apparently his engram will still roll.
It does.
Yeah, his engram's still a good thing for right now.
I got
So
a set of what was the I got, it wasn't Oathkeepers. It was I think Shards of Galanor with like 56 for the gear total
that's
on
not
it.
bad.
Yeah.
Bad at all.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, but still not great.
Yeah. I think the highest rolled exotic gear I've gotten, I think I got a Karnstein drop from my Nightfall this week. It was like 61.
Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't get that. I got a 57 Ophidia Spaith. Excuse me. A 57 is Ophidia Spaith with void energy on it. Affinity.
Yeah, they got to get those stat rolls up on exotic gear because having to re-roll that just for a decent stat roll.
Yeah.
Yikes. It's a little pain.
So other than that, I think we're good for questions, yeah?
Yep.
Right on. Get on to some audience questions.
All right. We only have a couple questions. Serotonin asks, is there a solution for how many different types of currency there is in the game? I have like 50 different kinds right now. It's obscene. I agree.
There's a lot of currency.
If they just took all of it and called it Soylent. So
Wait.
you have to feed Soylent into all your shit.
Soylent Green is people.
That'd be hilarious.
The solution is more spots in our inventory on our characters.
Yep.
I'll always take more inventory space. That's my answer. I'll always take more inventory space.
Yeah.
There's
Some of them we can't even put in the vault.
can't
That's
slot,
the thing about it. A lot of stuff we can't stack. We can't put in the vault. It
Vex
maxes
stuff.
out at 5.
Yep.
Like these blind well tokens are maxed out at 5. You can't carry anymore. You can't stack them. Like there's a couple different things you can do, and one of them would be the actual ability to store them in the vault and or giving us our characters more inventory space. What does our backpack look like with all the shit in it? Like if I go to the blind well, I got to open this duffel bag and be like, "Where's that?" I'm like throwing all this other crap out in the like it's around here somewhere, guys. Hang on, I'll start it.
I got it.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 second here.
my
There's an God, I have so many enhancement cores now. It was such a problem to get them before, but now I got so many. I got a bunch of bright dust here. Anybody?
Is that what we use? Oh no, we don't use that here now.
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I think I'm out of glimmer.
It's a very MMO problem, and Destiny has it in spades. There's a lot of currencies right now, and you're right. The most egregious ones are the ones that like you can't store in your vault, like the Vex Mine components.
Yeah,
they're just my postmaster now. Like they're just
taking up space.
I have 100 of them stacked up. It's like,
yep,
perfect.
It's great.
Like 15 modulus reports, ghost fragments that are stacked up, like all these things that we should be able to not only stack more than 5, but
if you could turn them in, for a seasonal currency, I think that would be worthwhile. If there was some sort of way to do that, that'd be great.
Maybe that's what'll happen at the end of the season when the season of the Undying ends. Maybe those Vex Mine currencies will be deprecated and like turned in for Glimmer or something. Maybe
you fly in and you see Amanda Holiday, and she is now our new customs officer, and you turn in all your Vex mines in order to get enhancement cores or something, because
I like to imagine that she's basically running the tower TSA. She's like, all right, Guardian, come on in. Now, did you bring in any foreign currencies? You're like, no, pocket full of tokens from various planets. I didn't smuggle in any space banana currency, miss. Step through the machine. We wand you up and down. Up. We're going to the back room. I'm getting up in that booty hole. I know you got some strange coins up in there. Get caught.
Excuse me. Do you have any data lattice?
Oh, man.
Shit. I thought I consumed all of that. before I got into the tower.
I thought it was legal here now, man. I thought that shit was legal. Yeah, Amanda Holliday's TSA. I love it. I think
that would be great.
Why not?
That'd be awesome.
Modernize the tower.
Yogarine asks, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but King Gathalion? So
moving over to Mixer.
Yeah, he's moving over to Mixer. He announced that today. I said this on another in my stream today, and I saw Ashney Christ tweet about it as well. I think it brings about this like a kind of brand agnosticism that is fine when it comes to streaming. If anything, it democratizes streaming as a whole. We'll see what the fallout is at the end of the day, but he's been the top of our directory for like years in Destiny and Destiny 2, and he does great things in the community. So like, I don't know, I just wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him at all. I think it's a great business decision, and I am a free market capitalist. The more competition, the better. Competition raises the bar for everybody, and right now Mixer's been making moves trying to snipe a lot of high-profile people off of Twitch, because those people, in many cases, are unhappy with Twitch. If this forces Twitch to make some changes to better their platform for their creators, I'm 100% on board with that. If a company wants to offer my dude what X amount of money for a contract for him to move over to their platform, all the power to him. Good for him. I think it's a benefit for him and his business. I think it's a benefit for Mixer. I even think there are benefits for Twitch there. In addition to the competition we mentioned before, that leaves a bit of a vacuum in the Destiny streamer space. Some people are still going to be on Twitch. New people can move into that spot. I think these sorts of competitive moves are good all around.
So this helps Goth take care of his family first and foremost, which is huge.
Yeah.
This is probably the first move that Mixer's making that will have any kind of viewer retention for the broadcasters they're bringing over. So they brought over Ninja and they brought over Shroud, and those broadcasters' viewers don't really tend to stick around to support other broadcasters after the show is over.
Yes,
for various reasons, most of which is age. But so Goth's community is one of the ones that kind of like knows how the Destiny community works and how we all kind of stick together. And Goth has rated my channel, and he's been very supportive of everything that we've done. And I can see that being the first actual trickle down effect that happens on Mixer's platform, because right now there is none. You know, Ninja's on the front page of Mixer almost full time. His metrics weren't what they were on Twitch. No. And the viewer numbers for the platform themselves tank once he stops his broadcast. Yep. So Goth is the first move that's going to make sense and actually, hopefully, kind of soak up some of that viewership and keep it there. Right. I've been broadcasting. This will be my 5th year in about 2 weeks, I guess. 4th year on the platform. So I've seen a lot of things already. I've already seen the mass exodus over to Beam when it was Beam, and then back to Twitch, and then over to Mixer when it was Mixer, and then back to Twitch. And so the thing about broadcasting in general is that it's one of the easiest things to break into as a creator. If you have a console, you can be a broadcaster. Yeah. It's not like the music industry where you got to go through all of these different loops and hoops to get your product on the air. In streaming and live in video game content creation, you hit the go live button and now you're in the market space, right? So at some point, what's going to happen is there's going to be more people broadcasting than there are watching. And I think that's one of the things that Mixer is struggling with right now, is they have more content creators who are live than there are people to watch the streamers that are streaming the platform. Yep. And Goth is going to be one of the people that's going to kind of help facilitate that, hopefully grow a nice, amazing, supportive community over there. Yeah. But this also is very, very important to their charity work that they are continuing to do. And now they've got kind of like a triple-headed monster with Goth on Mixer, with Darkness on Facebook, and with Professor Broman on Twitch. They're covering a lot of different bases that and reaching out to people that might not have heard of what they're actually working on. And this goes into things like King's Coast and the Rare Drop, their company, like, and all those kinds of things. Yeah. So I think this is a major, a very, very good move. I don't think a lot of broadcasters would actually be able to pull this off. And Goth is getting a lot of support from Mixer for this change that a lot of other broadcasters wouldn't get if they decided to make that change. Whereas he's getting like a month's worth of free subscriptions from the
that's
platform.
awesome.
It's kind of help build
That's huge.
to kind of help build
Massive.
some momentum, right? And what I'm afraid is going to happen is that a lot of other broadcasters are going to see what's going on, and they're going to try and do the same thing. And for whatever reason, like it's not like watching TV where I'm just going to flip a different channel. And I'm going to watch a football game on CBS. I'm going to watch one on NBC. No big deal. For whatever reason, content creation just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Goth is going to do very well because he's Goth. But the majority of other broadcasters that try and make that move aren't going to bring their communities with them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that I don't want it to become false hope for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to get your communities who love you and support you and throw thousands of dollars at you to go to other places. And people, I mean, Tim still gets messages on Twitter that no one's going to watch him on Facebook. I'm not going to come over there and watch you on Facebook. He's been there for a year now, if not longer. Right.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that Goth is going to have a lot of problems over there. And I think Mixer is going to do a really good job listening to him to kind of improve their program. Because I don't know if anybody in chat watches Mixer. In my opinion, the UI is a complete shit show. It's a disaster.
It's a mess. It's a gigantic mess.
So I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be some feedback for them to pull back the reins a little bit and simplify things, because there's just a lot going on that kind of even detracts from the content creator themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The future is bright, and this opens up a lot of space in our community for other broadcasters. But Goth does things that nobody else can do.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think it's a good move for him. Great move for the Mixer community, and especially the Destiny community on Mixer. I've streamed on Mixer once or twice. And it's like I said, competition always breeds growth, and Twitch needs competition.
Yeah.
Right now, more than ever.
If the thing, and this isn't a knock on anybody who's moved platform, but Twitch is not going to feel a thing.
No.
Yeah. No.
It really, like even the move from Ninja, like the majority of viewership that didn't follow him moved over to whoever was number 2 in the, I think it was is it Cypher or I forget who it was, but they just moved to him. And then he was the next person with those numbers on Twitch. So this is going to affect our directory a whole lot more than I think it's going to affect the entirety of Twitch, because our directory is pretty intimate. You know, we're 15th to 20th on Twitch in terms of viewership at any one given time. The top of the directory is people like Glad. You've got Lono, Jay Sniperton. Those kinds of people are your Pro Bro, right? So I think it's going to affect our directory more than anything else. But in terms of Twitch, I don't think Twitch feels much of anything at all, unfortunately, because this is just the way that Twitch works. Goth might be one of the best broadcasters, if not the best broadcaster on the platform in terms of entertainment value. He is so good at what he does, but for whatever reason, never reaches that 20 to 30,000 concurrent viewer. And that's mostly, I guess, because it's not Fortnite. I don't know.
Right.
But that's just how I feel about it. I think he's one of the best content creators on the planet. He's so entertaining. Yeah. So maybe this is his opportunity to get to those places. Because honest to God, he's got a lot. If anything, it might be harder for some of the broadcasters on Mixer to kind of pick up where he left off, because they don't have the same entertainment value.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I can see it also kind of solidifying the Destiny community over there and bridging that gap. You know what I mean? Like, for a long time, I didn't know any creators who made stuff for Destiny 2 outside of Angry Iceberg, and he moved over from Twitch, but you got like Hoosier Boy and, Nighthawks over there. And I think if anything, it helps to bridge that gap a little bit for us as a community. So
it's only going to present opportunities for growth for other broadcasters who are ready to take on and be those entertaining people and offer something that's not the same. Everybody has to be unique. But when we talk about entertainment value, like Goth's shoes to fill are very difficult to do. And that also lends to us in the Destiny directory. We've kind of got to step up our game so that we can be more entertaining for the people who are going to stay on this platform and find other alternatives for that entertainment. So, but like being being a broadcaster and then having like a 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 viewer host dropped on your head. I mean, your chat goes from a comment, a comment, a comment to an entire window at a time. And a lot of people are not going to be ready for that.
To all of a sudden, hey, I'm here. What's going on?
Just absolute chaos. Yeah, I think overall, though, I mean, I think it's a good move for him. Good move for Mixer. Help them build their brand a bit more, and hopefully grow. Because while I think Mixer's got a bright future, they do need to make some changes. That UI, you're absolutely right, Aura, is a mess, and it's a few too many.
Their
things
mobile app doesn't really function.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the viewer base is from Xbox dashboards.
Yeah,
not actual.
Yeah.
So there's
they also skew younger too, like
very much.
Yeah,
so.
because of that notion. Like they skew way younger because anybody can access it from their Xbox.
Mm-hmm. But it's a good opportunity, a great opportunity to see a new platform grow, and hopefully, well, while it's not going to hurt Twitch financially at all because they got that Amazon money, hopefully this gets them to look at their own policies a little bit more and maybe think about making some changes in the favor of their content creators. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because Microsoft's got a lot of money and they can just keep dumping money on people that want to try to spike.
You don't build a championship team by offering the top free agents the most money. A lot of it has to come from your draft and from your youth.
You have to have a good team.
And what Mixer is doing right now is good, but they're not looking at how they can invest in their own platform itself and promote growth within itself. They're not doing a good job with that. And while this is going to be good for 5 people for their future, I have yet to see them make moves that I think is going to be beneficial for their ultimate future and to exist within this space. They've got a long way to go before I'm going to believe that Mixer is a true player here. I don't care that you have 3 of the best content creators on the planet, because if that's all you've got, you're still going to lose this battle for now.
Yeah. I don't watch CBS, guys. I don't watch CBS.
Right. I mean, yeah. They've got to build that infrastructure up. They've got to make you're right. Sniping the best players only works as long as you've got a functioning team and a functioning court for them to play on. And right now, their court's a little messy, but hopefully they get that worked out. I could see bright things in the future. I love the competition. I think that it's what I wish YouTube would have done years ago, but YouTube sucks. Stay away from YouTube. All right. Do we have any other questions?
That is it. That's all for tonight.
Well, right on, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe that brings us to the end of episode 217 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We actually made it through quite a few things here. Quite a lot of conversation about
that was quite a show, I gotta say.
Passable job, everyone. Passable job all around. Before we get on out of here, we're going to let you know where you can find us all across the internet, starting with the man whose opinions you probably find yourself agreeing with more than mine. Aura, where you at?
Twitch.tv/Aura, Twitter.com/EvilAura, 3VIL_AURA.
Gonna be vooping. Have you hit 30K?
I think I hit 25K before the stream today on the kill counter, which puts me around 29 total on the weapon. Unfortunately, there's some things going on with Destiny Tracker and Charlemagne where they're not actually pulling the correct information right now. So I actually don't know where I'm at for fusion kills, but I refuse to spend a lot of time in this power grind. So I'm just going to be playing a lot of Crucible, checking out the dungeon. And if this October event is really fun partaking, but if it's just senseless running branches, I'm out.
Yeah. I honestly, I do hope that there's a bit more substance there than what we got last year.
I play this game for fun, man, and I want to be doing what's fun. And sometimes it's not leveling, and sometimes it's not the most content. So that's why I end up in Crucible, vooping people and then waving at them. And getting bagged in Gambit.
You're gonna need to get that headstone.
You gotta get the tombstone. You gotta get it.
You gotta get it now.
I like the wave, man. It's so simple and direct to the point. Just peace, bye-bye. Like that's it. It says everything.
We will convince you to drop a grave on these It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna have you quoting some Sam Jackson every now and again. It's gonna happen, my friend.
I want it.
So Dan, where you at, man?
Hi. You can find me, Danfinity, on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, but the eyes are L's. You can find me on Twitch 4 days a week. We hit a milestone today, a pretty major one, 75,000 views on the channel.
Nice.
So,
Right
yeah,
on, dude.
really excited about that. That was you guys, you surprise me every day, and it's so great. You can find Destiny Digest every day, every weekday, sometime before the end of the day, hopefully. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you, TBL? Where can people find you?
Oh, me. Well, you can find me in a couple of places: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all those usual internet places, all at the Black Link. This week's probably going to be, well, a lot of coverage. We got a lot of stuff dropping between the Dungeon, the Xenophage, Festival of the Lost. I'm probably going to have guide videos coming out for all of that kind of stuff over on my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Black Link. And of course, on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel at, I think Planet_Destiny is the Twitch. It's just normal Planet Destiny on YouTube. Should be links to all of that kind of stuff right here. So make sure you're staying tuned for all of that. For live streams, I might be streaming a little bit of Call of Duty. It depends on how frustrated that multiplayer makes me. If I, if they can make some changes to little things. I said I was going to talk about this, but one of the most frustrating things in the game right now are the footsteps. Sound whoring is the name of the game in Modern Warfare right now because everyone has elephant feet. It's just every step you take right now.
Every move you make?
Every step you take, every move you make. Sing it to me, Dan, because that's what it's like every time you're playing. Maybe they can make a change about that because, good God, is it frustrating. There's even a perk to deaden footsteps. Dead silence is like a little field order thing you can call in. It takes your footsteps from being to being.
That's been a perk in Call of Duty for a while. They've had that.
It's no longer a perk in Modern Warfare. What it is, it's a field upgrade. So like every 30 seconds, you get access to just turn it on if you've equipped it. But it doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing. People can hear you from like 50 meters away.
Oh, God.
It's ridiculous. God, is that a frustrating game?
Did they take supers out of the game?
Yes, they took supers out of the game, at least for the most part. But oh man, the new super is just sitting in a corner and hard scoping as hard as you can while you're surrounded by claymores. It's oh boy. So we'll see. We'll see with the live streams of that. If that's super frustrating, it's probably just going to be more Division 2. Been having a ton of fun in that over the past week or so. So I'm probably going to continue playing that in my free time. But all right, everybody, that is it for this one. Thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 217 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
But of course, for the numerous number of people who are here, we're probably going to raid somebody. We should raid someone.
I got a guy.
Yo, external memory.
You know a guy?
Awesome.
I know a guy.
You know a guy? All right.
DJ White Lightning.
Oh,
let's do it.
Right on. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Sorry, guy.
Show him some love.
Sweet.
I don't know what funny message we're gonna tell him this week, but
I don't know. What do you want to tell him? We got time to figure it out.
What would waste his time?
Elephant feet raid? Elephant feet?
Elephant feet raid?
Elephant feet raid? Gotcha.
Just type elephant feet.
Sounds good. Elephant feet.
Nothing else. No, nothing. Just elephant feet.
And don't explain it when he asks.
Yeah, just
don't explain it at all. Just elephant feet.
Do it.
Get it, boys.
Do it.
Right on.
Thank you, guys. We're sending you over now.